Tom Telesco, the man that was personally responsible for getting me into the NFL with his brain, thinking that I could be a guy that could be a punter, who pitched Bill Polian on the idea and got me drafted to the Indianapolis Colts at pick number 222, who would then go on to become the Chargers GM, and then he would become the Raiders GM. He is now nobody's GM, fired by the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this is a fascinating situation, and you got to wonder, how much does Tom Brady have to do with this? Tom got in there, started peppering Tom Telesco, and said, I don't like anything about this. Let's go ahead and move on. Or is there a couple coaches that they talked about, or maybe tied to the hip with the general manager and saying, hey, it's time to hit a reset button here in Las Vegas? D-But's first response, first thoughts whenever you read this?
Not shocked, what happened with Antonio Pierce. Usually it's a marriage. They come and go. So it's who's the lame? Carthon just got fired.
Yep, from Tennessee.
But Callahan's still there, so they kept him. But you don't see that much. So not shocked, especially with the reports coming out that Tom Brady's going to be very hands-on with the next hire and kind of the next where the vision for the team is going forward. So not shocked by Tom. And I think Tom will land on his feet.
Tom Telesco is a good man. He's a good man. He was good to us. But what that Raiders team had become is just, I don't want to say laugh, but
not good.
It was never talked about in like a super positive way.
Shit show.
Yeah, there we go. I think that's a cluster, a shit show, all those things. Last year, whenever Antonio Pierce was the interim and they had good vibes, they're smoking cigars in the locker room. Raider, they're doing the whole thing. It's like, here we go. This year's just been the complete opposite of that. They didn't have a quarterback, so that's potentially on Tom Telesco, I guess, is what they're thinking in the entirety of this. But that's definitely just a Raiders situation, seemingly as a whole. AJ Hawk, how do you feel about the Tom Telesco, and what do you think this means for the Las Vegas Raiders?
I mean, Raiders obviously cleaning house. It does. Yeah, unless the GM is part of the head coaching search, it doesn't really happen too often. I believe was John or the Seattle Seahawks. They brought in John Schneider to pair him up with Pete Carroll back in the day. I believe Pete kind of had a choice in that. I believe.
I don't know.
I don't know about that, but I know you have to have a good pairing. What is it called? Organizational. What's the word? Organizational synergy or whatever word from the
alignment.
Top down. Alignment. There it is. Organizational alignment. It's a big thing. There's a lot of coaches in the NFL. I don't want to say a lot, maybe a handful that don't have a chance of hell at winning because the front, the owners, the GM, the front office. If that's not right, the head coach has no chance. And I think we're seeing that. And I think you get those two, the GM and head coach especially, and owner. They have to have a singular vision of where the team is going.
They're also in the AFC West, so that's going to be tough.
Very.
For a long time.
Yep.
Chargers just got real good real quick with the introduction of Jim Harbaugh and the exit of Telesco.
Yeah.
And Staley almost, And I'm not saying that is exactly the case, but if Tom Telesco would have hired Jim Harbaugh, maybe a little different story at the Chargers. Obviously couldn't do that because he's with Michigan at the time, but it's like you got to have success, and if you don't, you're going to lose your job.
Broncos, too.
What's that?
Same division. It's like.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they're in the playoffs as well.
You got three playoff teams in that division, so,
And the Chiefs, and the Broncos are only going to get better. They're going to get access to more money as the seasons roll on here because they're still paying the Russell Wilson tax.
And Brady said there's only one Tom in this building.
You think that was?
Yeah.
2 Toms?
Can't have 2 Toms.
I mean, you go by Thomas, maybe. And then Tom Telesco was like, never.
They named me Tom.
I'm not an actual Thomas.
My name isn't Thomas.
Aren't you actually Thomas? Maybe you go with Thomas. And Tom Brady was like, I fucking own the team.
Yeah.
And Tom Telesco was like, I'm general manager. And Tom said, not anymore.
Or maybe Tom Brady walked into Telesco's office and he was doing Muay Thai and he said, we're not doing this again.
This is not good news. I was just reminded. Mitt's dad's name is Tom McMahon.
Oh, no.
Shit.
So many Toms over there, there can only be one, I assume.
Yeah, but when it
Not too
comes
confusing.
to Tom McMahon, I think there's other names for him.
Oh, yeah, middle gentleman.
Yeah, so it's like, you're fine. You can stay.